Hello, happy to be live with you. This is Evelena Rose, and I'm here for offering this live channeling of the Council of 12, one of the ancient councils of the White Brotherhood of Light. And these are beings that have worked with this planet since its inception, goddess archetypes, ascended masters, different angelic beings, and they also invite your guides to come. So you may actually receive guidance from your own guides during this channeling or even when you're listening to it. We load the replay with the energy of the channeling, so you'll be able to pick it up even listening. So let's take a moment, center and ground. Always, when you work with guidance, it's wise to use an invocation that sets a temple of light and ensures we're working with the beings we want to work with. So if you'll take a moment, close your eyes, use this time to go inside. I encourage you to really let this be your hour of self-reflection and self-respect, that you stop multitasking and you just give yourself this hour. Going inside, deep breath, breathing in as if you could breathe into the base of your spine, breathing out into the earth, opening your light, opening your grounding right into the heart of the earth, and allowing yourself to flow into your core and into your grounding. I ask the angels and the archangels to create for each of us a crystalline temple of radiant energy all around this channeling and listening. Please clear and cleanse all energies not of the light from around any of us, and weave for each one of us our own chrysalis of radiant light, filled with the rays and vibrations that are needed by each person and this work. I ask God, Goddess, source of all that is, encompass us in so much radiant light that only beings serving love, light, and truth may participate in any way. Highest truth is all that is spoken. Deepest healing and guidance is received. If you will, invoke your highest self and your brightest, clearest, most radiant guides as I call in the Council of 12, most especially Babaji and those beings who serve the heart of light and love only. Greetings, dear ones. We greet you, we bless you. We're honored that you're here with us today. And we'd like to speak today about living the erotic life. So many people associate eros, erotic life, with sexuality, and they can go together very nicely. And you can live erotically whether or not you're making love or having sex with anyone else. So it's really a matter of paying attention to your life, of becoming present with your life, really arriving in each moment and bringing your whole consciousness to that moment. Many people are busy bringing them one experience after another, and they never stop to have one. So what we're speaking about is entering into your experience in a way that you allow it to affect you. That if you're touching someone, you're feeling your hand in the touch, and you're putting your presence, you're putting your consciousness in that touch. If you've ever had someone just absent-mindedly rubbing the same place on and on, you know they're not really touching you. They're just allowing skin-to-skin contact. But the being in the other is absent in the touch. So Eros is all about being present. So that if you're touching Take time. Feel that. You put your hand on someone's hand, take a breath. Breath is the source of inspiration. That's how you take spirit into your body. So if you just put your hand there, that's nice. If you put your hand and take a breath, then you feel your hand on their hand, and you're more likely to feel their response to your hand. Then you notice if they don't take a breath, it's like, there's a hand. If they take a breath and open to that hand, now two souls are touching. And Eros is where you're in touch with your soul. Erotic energy between two people is where you allow each of you to be fully present so that your souls touch. So in Tantra and some other disciplines, there are these practices of eye gazing, where you look into the eyes of the other, you open to seeing into them, and you allow them to see into you. When you look with the eyes like your mind is going, who is that and what are they thinking? That's not seeing into them. The erotic looks with the eyes of the heart. So take a breath, let your light spiral down your center, follow it in, come sit in your heart chakra. When you're in your heart chakra, you can create a sanctuary in your heart. A room, a space, whatever wants to appear for you, but it's a sacred space. Maybe it's your cave. It's a sacred space you go into. When you're there, you can feel your divinity the strongest. It may be surprising to some to understand that the divine wants an erotic relationship with you. And when we define erotic as present, as involved, engaged in the interaction, receiving it, letting it touch you, letting your core be accessed in the connection, then it makes sense that the divine would want an erotic connection with you. In your world, everything erotic and sexual has somehow gotten relegated to not for public time, can't do it out in the open, have to do it alone in the bedroom or do it away from people, maybe even under the covers, maybe even with the door closed or the light off. As if there's some way that God, Goddess, the creatrix, made all your chakras holy and sacred, except that one. We're not so sure about that one. That one gets you in trouble. And we would suggest that all the trouble that sexuality has caused on this planet comes from separating sex from eros, separating the experience of sexual energy and the sexual acts from the heart and from the soul. So a sexual act, intercourse, or any kind of sexual connection can be just sex if only the lower chakras are involved and it's kind of mindless. It can be sacred if you open the heart and you're expressing your heart through that sexual experience. And it can be transformative if you open to your soul. Now your soul and your heart and your sexuality are functioning as one whole beingness. All the chakras want to be engaged. So when Evalena teaches Tantra, she says that Tantra is a multi-chakrid affair, which means you're connecting through your soul, your crown, your third eye. You're intuitively tuning in. You're going, how's this being received and what feels good? And maybe I need to ask here. I'm not sure I'm connecting. Maybe it's time to check in. The throat is engaged. You use your voice. You use your voice to say, oh, I like that. Or could you do that softer? Or I'd love to slow down. Or, right now, I think if we would just hold each other, I could get present, and I really want to be present for you. So you engage your voice. So often in whatever we think of as erotic, we're not asking for what we want, and then it's not erotic because part of us isn't there. Part of us is up in the head going, oh, I wish she wouldn't do it so hard, or I wish she would slow down, or I wish, whatever you wish. If you're close enough to someone to want an erotic exchange, then be close enough to your own needs, to your heart, to ask for what you want, to give feedback, and to allow your request and your kind words and your feedback to help guide the process to where it is so exquisite for both of you that you get 100% present and you lose yourself in the erotic energy of the exchange. So presence is the secret to that. You can have eros separate from sexuality. If you go for a walk right after the rain and you smell the rain and you see the flowers and maybe you sip the rain from the flowers, that gives you flower essence. So you sip the rain from the roses or the flowers, and you are present enough, you notice each flower, the rain from each flower has the flavor of the color of the flower. Now you're in erotic relationship with life. You're allowing life to touch you. You're allowing yourself to meld into the experience of this very moment. So right now, please let go of everything else and feel this moment. Allow yourself to notice, how are these words touching you? Where in your body wants to open to this message? Where in your body might want to close and go, oh, I don't know, maybe this is forbidden territory. How can it be forbidden territory if it's your body? You see? So what all those constrictions that kept people away from the power of eros have done is they have made people less available to their own erotic energy, to the life force in the body. So the sexual energy, the kundalini, and the life force are all the same. If you allow your sexual energy to move in your body, and it wants to flow, it wants to circulate, it wants to nurture all parts of you. If you allow that, then you're enlivening your body with your life force. You're allowing your body to be nurtured and energized with the life force. If you wish to have questions, please post them. Evalena will be given them soon, but we want to go forward with this message first. So you allow the life force to move in your body. If you've ever seen, and you all probably have, the caduceus, which is something the American Medical Association uses for their symbol, it shows a shaft, and it shows two serpents rising and undulating around this shaft with wings at the top. That's a symbol of the chakra system that is saying that Hippocrates knew way long ago that healing is the moving of the life force in the body. And when you bring it up through the chakras, it energizes and potentiates each chakra. It will open your heart to empathic rapport with another. That's lovely. So you're sitting with someone and there's a sense of, my heart is open to you. I expand to receive you. So the kundalini, when it comes into the heart, wants to open that empathic connection. It also opens you to compassion and to unconditional love, unconditional positive regard. So one of the things we notice when many people come into making love is they're still in their head. thinking about the day and dinner and the kids and the whatevers, it's really hard to make love from your head. You can have sex and be in your head, but to make love requires heart and soul. So take time to come all the way in. If you're going to have an erotic connection, if that's your desire, then you take time to look at each other, maybe exchange some blessings, to do some breathing together, set an altar, light some candles. That all gets you out of your mind and into current time. Ritual has a way of getting you between the thoughts. So do any kind of ritual. You can put on music and dance together. You can rub each other's backs. Any kind of ritual that gets you out of your mind into current time and into your body. And then make love from your heart. It's very, very different if your heart is pouring through your genitals, or you're just letting the genitals do what they do. It enriches, it enlivens, and it activates these neurotransmitters in the brain that are mood chemicals that get activated when the erotic is added to lovemaking. So everyone loves to feel good. So you can do a little research. What activates the mood chemicals? And one of the pieces that you may or may not find is presence. When you come into your heart, even if you just do it for you, you'll feel better. You come into your heart and you give yourself a nice long embrace. Try that. You can actually stimulate oxytocin in yourself by embracing yourself. And oxytocin is the feel-good chemical. When you come into your heart and you open to the divine, even better. You can make love with the divine. Making love with the divine is an exquisite experience. And the divine is very willing to make love with you, because to the divine, all energies are holy, all chakras are holy. And when you and the divine make love, meaning when you combine your hearts, you allow your body to feel the presence of the divine, and maybe you touch yourself in loving ways, as if the divine were touching through your hands, you'll begin to feel one with the universe. And you'll begin to understand that divinity desires your pleasure for you. It's not that the divine needs your pleasure. We're fine. We're in the equivalent of erotic energy all the time. The universe is really quite erotic. It's so interesting because many people would think that the way to get to God or the highest development is to be celibate and off alone in a cave. You can evolve a lot from that kind of celibacy and being alone if you open to the divine. You can be celibate and make love to the divine and have the best of all worlds. You can make love to the divine when you're making love to another. Now that is exquisite. So if you both take time and you acknowledge, we want this to be a really sacred experience. It's lovely then to light a few candles and say an intention or a prayer with each candle. And then as you're moving into touch, just have that sense of, I'm touching you and the divine is touching through me. You're touching me and the divine is touching through you. So we're inviting the mystery to be here and to guide us and to be a part of this lovemaking we're doing right now. We're inviting the light to have its way with us. And then when you're in an orgasmic flow, especially if you're able to go into extended orgasms, which means if one of you or both of you are men, that you've learned how to ejaculatory manage, how to save your ejaculation so that you can be multiply orgasmic without it. So then if you're in this long erotic experience and you've experienced some orgasms together, you might at some point just say, let's meditate. And that's exquisite. You go out into this amazing space in the universe that's entered mostly through erotic channels that allows you to feel union with the heart of the divine. And you may find your bodies just light up, that you feel the light of your soul by allowing that orgasmic process of enjoying several orgasmic flows and then going into meditation. You allow it to open you to the heart of your being and to the heart of all that is. It's exquisite. It grows you. It changes you when you allow that process to happen. So you see, there's a lot more to the erotic than most people know, and there's way more to lovemaking than most people know. The kind of sexuality that many people, especially in the Western worlds, understand is just a little bit of what's possible. You're going to say the tip of the iceberg, but it's kind of what's underwater of the iceberg. And what you want is to open to the whole capacity, which is beyond what you likely already know. So when you enter into an erotic experience with yourself, can be done alone, with the divine, can be done in that relationship, or with another, or more than one other, because we know this world, there are many genders and many options for sexual preferences. So when you open to an erotic experience, then give yourself permission to receive it. And receive it from your center. And give the universe permission to make love with you and through you and as you. The divine celebrates with a request like that. So we're choosing this topic because it's really time to let sexuality come out of the bedroom and out of the closet and into the fullness of your life. You can be sexual walking down the street. This little scarf seems to disappear. That's all right. You can be sexual walking down the street and noticing the clouds and just, those are exquisite. And you use your little PC action and do a little undulation, let your body be affected by it, so that Eros becomes a part of everything you do. It informs life. It enlivens you. It makes everything you do richer, more full, more complete. So simply allowing these erotic flows to take place in your body allows you to have more purchase of your body, more awareness, more presence. So take a breath and see if you'd like to make an agreement with yourself. This is between you and you and you and your creatrix. Would you like to make an agreement with yourself? I will come to know my erotic self more deeply. I allow myself to enjoy and invite Eros to be more alive in my life day by day and year by year. And I'm willing to discover levels of Eros and pleasure beyond my understanding. And breathe and just see how that feels. See if you find a yes to that. Yes, Eros, take up residence in me. I desire to feel erotic. Say one more thing and then we have a question. We would love more questions. Please post them in the chat and they'll be given to us. The other thing about Eros is take time. So let's say you're deciding, I'm going to have an erotic experience with myself. It's nice if you pray and invite spirit, but you don't have to. But if you want to ask the highest, brightest, clearest, most radiant beings of light who love me and love my soul and have my highest good in their heart, come make love with me. That's fine. Always the specification, highest, brightest, clearest, most radiant beings of light. And then you take time. So you're starting to touch yourself. And so often in self-pleasuring, people touch and then they try to get somewhere. So they're using the clitoris with a lot of intensity or the vajra with a lot of intensity. You probably wouldn't like a lover doing exactly that. So try something new. Try touching yourself, and before you move, wait until you're inside feeling the touch. And when you move, feel what that feels like. With every movement, feel what that feels like. If you start getting goal-directed, take a breath, back up. Stay out of goal-directed, stay in presence to see what it feels like in every moment. And what needs to happen, or the highest that is going to happen right then will, whether or not it takes you to a peak orgasm. Peak orgasms are pretty overrated. It's this testosterone-driven society that thinks I'm a good lover if I achieve a peak orgasm, but they're really overrated. You might have a lovely, erotic time of deep presence with yourself and then just drift off to sleep without going toward orgasm, but going toward connection and erotic energy and being here. I'm here for me. And oh my goodness, I don't know if I've ever touched my yoni or my vajra with so much love and so much consciousness. It helps to heal all the times that you were touched with an idea of, I got to make something happen. And maybe it goes toward orgasm, but it goes way slower. But it may go way higher because it's gone slower. If you push to an orgasm, you can get it. And wait until you feel an orgasm that is evolved through patient connection with yourself. And you'll see it's a world of difference from the achieved orgasm. So, beloveds, love yourself. Maybe touch your heart and your belly and just make a commitment. I will learn a deeper relationship with Eros, with my erotic life. And thank yourself. Bless yourself for that. And we've suggested you invite your guides to be with you. You can ask them to assist you in deepening your relationship with your own Eros, with pleasure, which is really Goddess's gift to you. You know, your body could be created capable of creating life without the capacity for the great pleasure that it is capable of. The pleasure is an add-on. Yes, it does help people come back to having sex and having kids, but it also is there because the divine knows that if you allow yourself the ultimate of pleasures, union with yourself, you will allow yourself the even more ultimate of pleasures, union with the divine. And sexuality then becomes a path to enlightenment, which is what it was originally installed to be. A path to enlightenment. Bless your sweet sexuality and your erotic heart. So our question, Monica, hello. What is a good way to open to the life force when the emotions and body are in contracted protection from recent experiences? So take a breath. You open first to the life force for you. And you allow yourself to give time to be with what is. So you're contracted. Breathe into the contraction. Hello, contraction. Boy, we really needed to contract, didn't we? So you make a relationship with it. There was a time with that person when contraction was exactly what was called for, because it helped me get out of there. So thank you, contraction. I really appreciate that. I want to honor the parts of me that are really, really good at contracting. And now I'd like to experience expansion. So contraction, you're fine. And I know when I need you, you'll be right there. And maybe sooner next time. It's fine to contract when something doesn't feel right. So those influences that didn't feel good are not here right now. So right now, I want to experience expansion. So thank you, contraction. I invite expansion to arise in my body. I'm going to expand just for me right now, to allow myself to come in. And then you let your light spiral down your center. Follow it in. With each breath, see if you can bring it deeper and deeper into your body and accept what you experience. The best way out of contraction is honor it. The best way to deal with resistance is honor it. Because if you resist resistance, you get more resistance. If you fight contraction, it's going to fight back. That's what it does. It contracts against force, but it relaxes with acceptance. So you just accept what is, let your light spiral down your center, and maybe touch yourself in the way that feels honoring. And probably start with your face. And just a gentle stroking. Why don't you all do that? Touch your face with an honoring, cherishing, treasuring touch. Should be very light. If you touch right beside the eyes, even if men with beards, you'll feel how velvety it is. That light enough you can feel the connection, because you're really looking for the felt sense of touching and being touched, and that's the interface between the hand and the skin. You're not rubbing the skin, you're not massaging, that's a different thing. They're great too. But you're creating an energetic interface between your hand and your skin. And then as you're opening from contraction, just take that other places, but start at the periphery. So a secret about a woman's sexuality is that it begins from the outside in. A man's begins from the inside out. So a man gets excited and turned on, and he's ready. And then he needs to slow down and let the rest of him arrive in the erotic exchange if it's going to be full eros. A woman, to arrive in erotic energy with yourself or another, you need to start at the exterior and come in, the periphery. So go over your whole body, touch your whole body, and touch it lightly enough and slowly enough that your consciousness can follow the touch, that you meet the touch with your consciousness. And so you touch your arms and your legs, your back, what you can reach. You touch your neck, you touch your torso, but you wait to touch any place that you would think of as a sexual connection. And then you slowly bring it there. So for a woman opening from contraction to feeling sexual energy, you might do what we just said and breathe while you're doing it. And then rather than go right to your breath, start with big circles all the way out and coming in slower and slower and closer in until you get to the nipples. That allows your body to realize you're honoring its process of waking up. If your body isn't awake that time, just love it. Thank you, body, for receiving my touch, and come back to it another time. When you feel your body opening and expanding to your touch, and only then would it seem wise to begin to bring the energy into your genitals. And again, start like in the legs and bring it up, but not all the way. Bring it up a little at a time, a little further each time, a little more each time. So you're coming from the outside in, but you're not immediately touching the yoni, so that it has some sense of, oh, I get to open in my time. And it knows you're coming, and that helps it to get a little excited, a little energized. If you go into fear, love the fear. Nurture that part of you. That may be a signal there's a part of you still back in the abusive situation that caused the set shutdown in the first place. So you just look at what scene comes up with that fear and ask Divine Mother to help you go and be with that part of you that's still there. Love her, let her know you're safe now. You'd like her to come into your current life where you've left that situation behind and come be with you. And then here's the secret. We call this soul retrieval, needs this piece. Ask Divine Mother to bring that part of you and you, because you're there talking to that part, through space and time, all the way through space and time, and right into your heart chakra and into now, and you name the date. And then you might say it again, Divine Mother, bring all of me out of that relationship, all of me, right through space and time, all the way through space and time, right into August 6th, 2019, and into my heart chakra. And yes, the angels to make a room in your heart for that part of you, and maybe a rocking chair to hold that part and you. You're never too big to be in Divine Mother's lap. And if you let her hold you, she has this great exchange. She is completely love. That's it. She's love. So you breathe in her love and you breathe everything else out into her heart. So you can give her the pain, you can give her the contraction, you can give her the fear. Breathe in the love. And again, slowly, let it be an erotic exchange of taking time to feel the love coming in and experience releasing. She's got all day. She's got all of eternity. You can stay in her lap as much as you want, as come back as often as you want. And by feeling the expansiveness of her love, it helps you remember your own expansive love. The one other thing we'd say to this question is that your contraction is a defense mechanism that served you. It's a good thing. It has allowed you to protect the most precious part of you. So it's a little bit like those flowers that close at night against the cold night air. It's protecting what's precious in you. So it's really okay to sometimes close up, and you're closing around your essence. So what's available for whatever's happening out there is less of you and less central to who you truly are. So you want to bless the contraction. You just go, God, I'm glad I know how to do that when I need to, and I know how to expand when I need to. And life is like that, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. That's how it goes. So we have another question. Speaking of life force, Luciente. Hi, Lucy. Speaking of life force and opening, I'm trying to invite this baby to come earthside today or very soon. But I panicked and shut down this morning. How can I keep the energy open and flowing? Well, we want to say hello to your sweet baby. And we suspect what your baby knows and the universe knows is that it has its own timing. So if you're inviting it to come forward, it's probably because you're intuitively picking up that the baby's ready for permission. So you invited it to come forward soon, and then you panicked. So what was that panic about? We know that you have a tremendous desire to not impress your will upon your child's, to not try to force something that isn't right. So for a moment, you forgot to trust yourself. And if there's more about the panic, go ahead and put it in the chat. But we think for a moment you forgot that you and the baby are one. You're so one. Baby's part of your body still. And that you can trust that there's a communication going on between you. So we suggest you just say to the baby and your body, oops, lost trust for a moment, I'm back. I love you. I love you so much. I am so ready for you to be born. And I invite my body to open to that process. Body, just allow this to happen. It's got its own timing. I want to cooperate with that timing. And Great Mother Goddess, guide this process. Help me release any place that has in any way shut down to this birth out of my fear of not doing it right. As a matter of fact, Mother, I give you my fear of not doing it right. Maybe everyone. Divine Mother, I give you my fear of not doing it right. I give you my fear of somehow going against what should happen. And I relax in the knowing that I am a child of the divine. Divinity is at work in me. Divinity is at work in this infant. And divinity will guide us all the way through the birth process. I allow myself to be at one with this process. And I allow myself and the spirit of this baby to collaborate on right timing, on relaxing into the contractions of birth, trusting the process, and trusting that my body, which knows how to give birth now, will easily open to this birth. I trust myself. I trust my body. I trust the mother instinct that's come down to me from eons and generations before. And I trust that the mother that created all of us is at work in this birth. So a few deep breaths and you're there. Allowing yourself to relax, letting go of anything you have, any negativity you've made around panicking or shutting down. That was a moment. That was then. And this is now, and now I get to open, and now I get to love myself, and now I get to be present to divinity working through me and through this birth. So the being of your baby is kind of laughing. Like, no big deal. It's really okay. We got this one. We got it. We'll be fine. Just relax. So just kind of let yourself feel that. You're sensitive. Let yourself feel that your being is cool, Mom. It's all right. We got it. We'll do this. It's got its own timing. Be patient. I got your invitation. Come and when it's time. I'll be here soon. And I love you. Take that in. Breathe it in. So the erotic is receiving. In this moment, receiving the reassurance of the being of your child. and knowing that the divinity is at work and all is right, all is fine. Bless you. Bless this birth, we ask all your loving guides and angels and goddesses to be with you throughout this birth process, to be with your sweet partner and child, your other child, to be with everyone involved, that everyone does their stellar best, and that you know that's plenty. It's plenty good enough. It will be a good and clear birth. Blessed be. So any other questions? We have another person in the field of Evalena's work who is right there at about almost at the moment of birth. And it's a very sacred time. It's a time where your consciousness in many ways wants to be between the worlds, because you're actually entertaining the mystery to arrive in you through your body. You're allowing the cosmos to express itself through this miracle of birth, of something that evolved inside you, that evolved out of the love of you and your partner and you and the divine. So you want to trust this process. You want to trust that somewhere in the recesses of the consciousness of your being, you know exactly what to do. And a lot of it's about presence and patience. It's really hard to be patient when your belly is enormous and everything in you wants to see this being and move into this next phase. And yet, if you consider this a really sacred time, a time of the final union of being of one body with this one, and just treasure it and cherish it, that allows you to relax into the birth process. There's a tendency in Americans, some people in other parts of the world, but especially Americans, of jumping ahead to, but what if and what do I need to do, and running the next phase. But cherish this one. The erotic is cherishing the moment. And these are the last moments that you and this being get to share one body. Once this baby is born, you share in so many ways through nursing and holding and so on. But cherish this moment, and that will allow you to relax completely into the birth. And we say this to you and all others giving birth, and it's even true in giving birth to yourself. We worked with someone yesterday in a channeling, someone we've worked with for years, and who's now having built the life she wants, having created work that's beautiful and a home and many of the things she wants in her life. She's at 65 in a place of, I'm not sure who I want to be now when I grow up. In that place of ambiguity. That's a powerful place. When you don't know for sure who you are, you don't know where you're going, you don't know when you don't know what's happening. There's a lot of room for spirit to be creative in those places. And so you want to bless that ambiguity. Evalena would handle it by saying, I don't know who I am. I don't know when I'll know, but God knows, and I'll be informed when it's time. It's kind of a need to know basis. So if you can hold it that way of somewhere in my being or somewhere in the universe, I do know. Somewhere in my soul, there's an awareness of what's next. And if I let myself rest in the not knowing, I'm available for guidance. So many people fight it, almost from age 12 or 14 or 2, what do you want to be when you grow up? People go to college, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Who are you becoming? What's your job? What's your career? And then you get to a place, middle essence, some call it, where you've been there, done that. Maybe you still have a career, but you want to know, who do I want to be? Who am I? And what expresses me? And in this situation, it became that the next step was not changing the life or moving somewhere else. It was a movement inside of allowing much more permission for the creative process to look at what sparks my creativity. And this person wants to write, but she's tried to write toward a goal. And it's very hard to be creative toward a goal. It's kind of like making love to get an orgasm. You can do it, and it could be pleasurable, and it kind of truncates the creative experience, the creative process. So when you let go of the goal and you go, what writing wants to happen? What voice wants to get expressed? How does my inner being want to show itself right now? Then you're able to use that ambiguity to learn more about the you you've already become and what wants to happen to become more fully your fully expressed self. So the not knowing is a powerful place. You know, many people have said, I wish these lives would come with an instruction manual. Well, that might be convenient. However, then you might be slave to the instruction manual. And if you've ever cooked without a recipe, you know it's kind of fun to play with all those different spices and foods and combine them in a way that they may never have been combined before on the planet and see what you come up with. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's like, oh, don't think I'll do that one again. But you learn from the process. So when you're patient, when you arrive in the moment, you allow a creative process to take place. You allow yourself to evolve who you truly are instead of trying to become who you think you should become. So we feel there's great value in practicing presence and patience. And while you're being present and patient, feel into what is. What do I notice right now? There's a little air moving in the room. Oh, that feels good on my back. I notice a tickle of the hair on my cheek. Oh, that's kind of fun. I can feel my feet on the floor. If I tune in, I can feel them even more. And I can feel it's kind of nice to move my feet on the floor. Oh, well, that's kind of fun. So you tune in to all the sensations that already exist. You have a somatic experience, a relationship with your body. And in doing that, you arrive in now, you're available for an erotic relationship with life. We would suggest that when someone has an artistic bent and they take time to really drop in and see what wants to evolve from inside, it often becomes a pretty erotic experience and sometimes orgasmic. And we suggest it's lovely to have orgasmic experience throughout all of your days. Good thing. So we have 2 more questions. We have about 10 more minutes if you have any other questions. Oh, we have Damaris. I'm okay with being alone and also open to finding a partner. Meantime, having divine connections with or without sex. I feel my path is to connect others through my art. Yes, it is. I've been abused sexually and healed so much, yet still wonder if there are things to work out so I can go deep into my creative source, trust myself more than ever, and yet, ask you for guidance moving forward. How does this relate to showing up for my 14-year-old daughter and be present after so much time she has not been with her mom for her own erotic insight? Big questions. So yes, enliven your erotic life with or without a partner. Eros doesn't require a partner. It requires presence, openness, and you can touch yourself. It's kind of fun to kiss yourself. You kiss right where the nerve endings are closest to the surface. You'll feel it. The wrist, the elbow. Some people can reach their elbow with their lips. You can kiss your hand, make it kind of like a mouth. So play with being erotic with yourself. That allows more patience for a partner. You can ask for any being on the other side of the veil that you know is in the light to come and be erotic with you. And that can be really fun as well. And you'll learn more how to do that as you call them in and ask them to teach you how to receive their love and their erotic connection. So the question about being abused and is there more to do? We feel that these things that get put in motion in childhood, in many ways, they're to be worked the rest of your life. It's just your curriculum. But what tends to happen is you get to a place where you take it less seriously, where it determines you less. So one way to know if there's more to be worked is tune in to what happened to you as a child. Are there still images that come in and keep recurring for you? That's a place to do some soul retrieval. We described it here. We also have an article on evalenarose.com about soul retrieval. And in one of the Living as an Empath recordings, we actually walk people through soul retrieval. If any of you want the Living as an Empath recordings, just put your email in Messenger and we'll send it to you. So we feel that you've still got a few scenes where a part of your consciousness is caught in time, caught in that scene that you could do soul retrieval with. And the way to identify them is, what are the scenes that just stay in your mind when you think about the past? When you've completely retrieved all yourself, there won't be any scenes that occur. You'll kind of even be going, wow, I remembered it so clearly. I don't know that I remember it as clearly now. Good sign. That means you're not back there. You're here, and the scenes are back there, and they're past. So that's part of how you can work any pieces that still need to be done and know if there are more pieces. So showing up for your daughter, if you're not with her, then you show up by, you can talk to her soul. You can have a conversation with her soul. And call her by name, ask her higher self to come in, and then let her know what you'd like to teach her, what you wish you could share with her. And give her that information and ask her soul to bring that in through other influences or through her dream states. And in that way, you really can still be offering your erotic insights to her. When you are able to see her, then you can't go right to the Eros, but you can offer presence, you can offer patience, you can let her be who she is, let her come forward to you. You can be curious, not in a way of asking direct questions. We suspect with her, it's better to ask indirectly, like, I'm really curious to learn more about your life, and I'm open to hearing whatever you'd like to share. That arrives better because she's a choice than tell me what you're thinking, or tell me about some part of your life. Just a curiosity, an inquiry that is a curiosity and more a statement than a question. You can also invite your soul to help you connect with her in the dream world and to have a good mother-daughter talk in the dream world. And we think that'll be possible whether you remember it or not. Your soul says yes, and you already have, and you will again. So you invite those ways of connecting, and that will assist you in in feeling that you are an influence in her life, regardless of how much direct one-on-one contact you have. We do feel that you activate the erotic in your art. So when you're doing art, just breathe into your whole body, feel all your chakras, feel your first chakra. Every once in a while, just a little undulation. For all of you, throughout the day, move your PCs a little bit. It helps the life force to move in your body. And move your body, undulate a bit. The body loves undulation. The life force loves undulation. And that will increase the ways in which your art serves your erotic development. We have 2 more questions, and that will complete this time. Donna, I understand that we must feel joy and celebrate life to help lift the vibration of the planet. But how do we do this without feeling bad when there's so much sadness and grief worldwide? So everyone take a breath. There's a feeling joy that's like, I'm not going to pay attention to the grief. And there's a feeling joy of, I'm going to anchor joy and love. And I realize there's a lot of grief on the planet. Kuan Yin, please sit with all those in pain. Please absorb the grief on the planet. So you're calling resources to those who need the support. If you merge with the grief, there's one more person in grief. That doesn't help much. But you acknowledge it. And if you feel it, go ahead and feel it. Let it move through your body, but then offer it to Divine Mother. Offer it to Kuan Yin. It's really their jobs to help dissolve the grief and release it on the planet. When you're tuning into joy and light, you can program, I'm tuning in for all of us. I'm inviting more joy to arrive for everyone on earth by anchoring it myself. And you stay in your heart and radiate it out. So when you merge with the grief or the pain, you're actually going out to that. When you stay in your heart and anchor joy and love, you're being a resource offered to that. So you anchor it deeply in your heart and then let it radiate and know that it's going where it needs to go. Your prayers are assisting those who need to be assisted, and you're doing your part. So it's allowing both to be present. It's a planet of duality, and anchoring what feels more true than the grief. The planet is in the throes of enormous change. And so the darkness that is about to be expunged from this planet is rearing its ugly heads and having a lot of effect on certain people right now. But the change is also strong. There's a groundswell of change occurring that will take everyone on the planet to a higher expression of themselves. The realms of light have listened to the light workers worldwide and to Gaia herself, requiring change. And we're helping to uplift the consciousness of the species. If there's significant numbers who really want to destroy themselves and the planet, an alternative planet will be spun off for them to do that with. Because it's illusion and they're souls and they can't really destroy themselves. And they can all die and they can let that alternative planet die. But Gaia is not going to go there. She's convinced of that. If necessary, she could change the atmosphere overnight and get this species that's causing violence gone. But she knows there's a better way. She's working with the realms of light. So those of you choosing to hold joy and love as consciousness, you're helping lift the planetary zeitgeist so that more and more people can feel love and consciousness. And then trust that the universe knows what it's doing. We've heard all your prayers. We're strongly at work and clearing what's causing the violence and the darkness. We'll give you an example. In channelings, when Evalena finds she's working with someone who might have a possession, there might be an alien energy in their space. When we clear those energies, we've always been committed to not just moving them out, but moving them to a better place for them so they don't come back. Now we're able to clear it from that person, from all the lifetimes of that person, and from the lifetimes of people affected by the lifetimes of that person. So sometimes we're clearing tens or hundreds of people at the same time. And these alien energies that have misused those on the planet, and some of the more demonic forces that have been brought by negative magic or negative workings by those who think they're magical, we're clearing those energies, and more they're being lifted off the planet. So there's a planetary housekeeping that's happening from the realms of light. And when you tune in to love and light and joy, you're a part of that. Thank you for that question. Angela, good to see you here. I'm in that space of opening to my next evolution. Can't quite see what it is that I need to do. Does the council have any insight for me? Well, the whole piece we spoke of earlier about allowing ambiguity is really important for you. When you're ready to open to your next level of evolution, you want to say to your mind, mind, I love you. You're so good. You serve me so well. That's how you always start a conversation with the mind. You start it with honor and respect. And right now, I'm evolving to something we haven't known before. So mind, you can't guide me there. And ego, you can't guide me there. You can only guide me where you've been. So I want to ask that you kind of step aside. You can have little pillows over here. Take notes. I want some time to just tune into the universe and access what I don't know yet. Access the mystery. So then you sit and you get still, and once you've got your ego and your conscious mind quieted, quiescent mode, which they can get when they're respected enough, then you tune in. You might have a journal and pen with you, and sit at an altar and just, I call upon my highest, brightest, clearest, most radiant beings of light. I know you're here to support me in my next levels of evolution, and I'm inviting guidance. Please let me know what I need to know, and show me where I'm going, if you will, and guide me in traveling my most central path. And then you get still and you meditate. And at some point you want to write, and you write, or you draw. Things come through, or you record into a phone. Do that without much concern about what you're writing. The mind gets busy. Is this guidance or is this you? And you say, I don't know, I don't care. I just want to write. Please be still. So if there's questioning, that's the mind again trying to control. And you just go, there's your pillow. Thank you, sweetie. I want to just allow. And it will be partly you, and partly consciousness, and partly higher mind, and partly the divine. And it doesn't matter. You're wise. You're an amazing being. So it's fine if some of that's coming from your higher intuitive mind. You make room by stilling the conscious mind and ego for your higher intuitive mind to talk with you. So people think, well, I want clear guidance. Well, maybe you want to live from a place where you live in your own highest intuition and connected to guidance. Then that means that these chakras above your crown are opened and you're accessing the wisdom of your own soul, which you want to have a part of what helps you with this next level of evolution. And the next thing is to know you got this. Being ready for the next level of evolution means you're ready. You wouldn't ask the question if you weren't ready. You are ready. We can see that. It's already happening. It's happening in the questioning. It's happening in the stillness. It's happening when you allow yourself to tune in and go, how do I feel? What's going on right now? So this piece where you started with about living the erotic life is very apropos right here. The way you live the erotic life and move to the next dimension is that you bring presence and consciousness to everything in your experience. So it's, how do I feel? I have this thought, maybe I could do this. How's that feel? Well, it feels good, except I can tell my mind's getting busy with it. Okay, mind, please be still. How would it feel if I actually allowed myself to do that? It would feel good unless I get into needing to please people. Okay, so I'm going to agree with myself. I'm going to do it for me and for God, for Goddess, not to please people. How does that feel? The internal guidance system is what you access when you ask, how does that feel? It'll come in emotions. It'll come in opening to something that feels good and closing if it doesn't. It'll come in hunches. So you're letting yourself access your internal guidance system, which actually already knows exactly how to take you where you need to go. So your soul's got it all planned out. You're the last to know. That's okay. You just allow the plan to be unveiled as it opens before you. And you can say, okay, soul, I'm ready for the next phase of this plan to be open to me. Show me, guide me. You know, it's interesting because you might do all of that and sit and be still and go, I didn't get anything. And then you go for a walk and insights come and ideas start happening and you start feeling, whoa, I could do that. You did get something. It just took a little while to percolate. Sometimes it's not instant. In your world, everything wants to be quick, quick, quick. And in the erotic world, where you're following your soul's plan, it happens in its own timing. One last thought before we close. When you allow yourself to be guided in this way, and to really be in the heart of your true path, all your resources are available to you. All your resources are on the path of the heart. So when you get yourself on the path of the heart, you'll start finding, wow, miracles are happening. We've had people say, it's so amazing. Serendipity here and there and miracles. It's like magic. Well, the magic is you got on the path of the heart. So you joined the magic that already is there, waiting for you to arrive in the center of your heart, in the center of your life, and the center of your path. And may you all do so. We love you immensely. It's a joy to serve you. Please share this video as widely as you wish. We love to get these messages out to people. If you wish to ask questions for next week, you can put them in a text or messenger, and we'll bring them into the session. And we will be channeling on Facebook Live Tuesdays in August this year. So enjoy. On YouTube and Facebook are many of the videos of our previous channelings. There's also other videos available to you of teachings of working with the divine and activating your light body and learning erotic communication and all kinds of things on YouTube, Facebook, and evalenarose.com. So we bless you, we honor you. Thank you to all the guides who've come to work with you. You might want to just sit with your guides and integrate this information for a bit, or even ask for them to give you more guidance about how it applies to your life, and do some journaling or speak in your phone or just get still. It'll happen. So we love you, we bless you. We thank and bless and release all those who've assisted us. Thank you, Evalena, for being our vessel. We ask all these beings to bless each and every person who's engaged at all with this channeling, that you may feel your highest destinies coming true with ease, grace, and elegance. And may you find and walk the heart of your path. Blessed be. And may the realms of light bless this earth with so much love and peace that it touches every heart, every soul, awakens all those ready to awaken to the light of the divine inside. Blessed be. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I do offer private sessions, channeled readings, both by Zoom, worldwide, by phone, live, Facebook Live, no, what do you call it? FaceTime. I'm still in the older state, FaceTime. And, and also in person in Asheville, North Carolina. I offer channeled business guidance to entrepreneurs, consultants, healers, CEOs, business owners. Have for 30 some years. We'll create a business team with the Council of 12 of beings that will be available to help you work on your business. And we provide guidance, really practical, down to earth guidance about marketing and getting known in the community and how to bring clients back. And we even help consultants write materials for classes or look into contracts and how to write them in a way that gets them funded. So we're willing to work with you in many ways. And the beauty of working with the Council of 12 is they bring the very beings that are needed for you. So if someone asks a question about social media, it's a different set of beings than if they're asking about their romance. And they can just move in and out to be the very expertise that you need, always beings of light. I also, my original practice was metatherapy, very metaphysically based therapy that allows you to gather up all parts of yourself caught in traumas of the past, bring them into now, and reconstitute your core self. It's very experiential, not just talking therapy. Energetic healing on site and sometimes online, and I teach Tantra lessons, do those online as well. I love offering this work to all of you, and just know that you are divine, and that as we all live in a more erotic way, which means in more deep relationship with the heart of love and light in the universe takes us forward into more consciousness and better lives. May it be so. Blessed be.